Wow.
That almost hit me.
You lower your gun.
Fucking move!
You pull that door handle, then you'll blow the fuck up. What was that?
Somewhere on a phone screen, a group text lights up between wealthy friends. They joke about politics, trade memes, and then, almost casually, the conversation turns dark. They begin discussing the manor and the hunt, a fantasy about rounding up people they despise and hunting them for sport. Among the names in this thread is one that will matter more than any other: Athena Stone. And right now, she's just laughing at the joke. On a private jet soaring above the clouds, the joke has already become something else entirely. Inside the luxurious cabin, a group of well-dressed elites sip champagne and nibble caviar, congratulating themselves on the adventure ahead. A stewardess leans over to a man named Richard, offering him something to eat. He dismisses her with a snarky remark, too impressed with his own wit to notice how uncomfortable she becomes. He asks for champagne instead, and she obliges, but as she returns to pour, the cabin's veneer of sophistication shatters. A drugged man named Randy stumbles out from the cargo hold, disoriented and terrified, scaring the stewardess and the other passenger. Richard announces, almost amused, that one of them is awake. An older gentleman, Ted, who claims to be a doctor, jumps to his feet, trying to calm Randy down. He makes him lie on towels, then, in a swift and clinical motion, stabs him in the neck. But Randy isn't dead. He flings a bottle wildly, desperate and bleeding, until a woman strides in from the back of the plane. Her face isn't fully revealed yet, but her composure is absolute. She drives the heel of her stiletto into Randy's eye, twists it, and removes it with a sickening calm that makes the others wince. As she cleans her shoe, she utters a line that tells you everything about who she is. There is no sentimentality in war. Ted drags Randy's body into another compartment, where several other drugged bodies lie motionless on the floor. The hunt hasn't even started, and the blood is already flowing. Is there anything about these people that isn't a contradiction? Later, in a sun-drenched clearing in the middle of an unknown forest, a woman wakes up with a gag locked around her mouth. She's disoriented, confused, and completely alone, until she sees another woman across a small river, fashioning a makeshift compass. The second woman notices her but barely acknowledges her existence before walking away. As the first woman struggles to her feet, she sees others, strangers, all gagged, all stumbling toward a large wooden crate sitting in the middle of a field. One of the men says it's a trap, but the curiosity is too strong. He opens the crate. A pig runs out, squealing into the wilderness. Then he looks inside and finds something far less innocent. A rack of weapons. Guns, knives, ammunition, a full arsenal laid out like a grotesque invitation. All of the strangers move toward the crate. Among them is a pretty young woman called Yoga Pants. She finds a small envelope containing keys and uses them to unlock her gag. She helps the others free themselves. No one understands what's happening. No one has any memory of how they got here. And then the first bullet cracks through the air. Yoga Pants is the first to fall. A rifle shot through the head, precise and merciless. A man called Bandana Man tries to fire back toward the source but is killed moments later. The horror has begun.
What the fuck?
Come on, let's go.
A woman called Dead Sexy runs and stumbles into a hidden pit, impaling herself on a spike at the bottom. She's still alive, screaming in agony. A man they call Trucker, a handsome, capable-looking guy, rushes to help her, pulls her out, and the two start running. Then Trucker steps on a landmine. The explosion erases them both.
Jesus Christ. Hey.
Shoot me.
No.
The survivors scatter in blind terror. A small group finds a fence circling the clearing and the surrounding woods. A man called Target tries to climb over, but he's struck by an arrow. He turns to face his attackers with grim defiance, only to be finished off moments later with a grenade. 3 others manage to get over the fence: Staten Island, Big Red, and Vanilla Nice. They reach what looks like an ordinary gas station on a country road. Civilization, at last, or so they think.
Yeah. Stop.
What?
The gas station is run by an elderly couple, warm and friendly, who tell the strangers that they're in the state of Arkansas. Staten Island grabs the phone and calls 911, explaining that people have been abducted, that this is the Manorgate scenario everyone talked about online. But the 911 operator on the other end is one of them. The elderly couple, Miranda and Julius, or Ma and Pa as they present themselves, suddenly drop the act. They pull on gas masks, toss a smoke grenade, and open fire. One of the strangers chokes on a poison cookie. The blue-shirted man tries to shoot back, but Ma kills him first. The gas fills the station, and the last survivor is choked to death. With friends like these, who needs enemies?
I'll get him, Mom.
Moments later, Ma and Pa clean up the carnage with practiced efficiency, disposing of the bodies as though tidying up after dinner. Ma notices that one of the dead men wears a wedding ring and starts to feel something close to guilt. Pa waves it off. The man was surely a bad person. He probably even used the N-word. Pa reasons. The two argue about the subtleties of racism while standing over a pile of fresh corpses, their moral compass spinning wildly. Then a call comes in on the radio. The woman on the other end tells them that another one of the hunted is heading their way. They reset the gas station and wait.
The climate change myth suffered another blow today with...
Okay, here she comes.
A composed, quiet woman walks in through the door. There is nothing panicked about her, nothing frantic. She moves with the deliberate calm of someone who has survived worse than this. Her name is Crystal Creasy. She asks for a box of cigarettes and pays with her emergency money. She asks, casually, what state she's in. The woman answers. Crystal takes her change. And then Crystal notices something. The price of the cigarettes is wrong. In Arkansas, a pack costs $6. These people don't know that. Crystal's eyes narrow. In one explosive motion, she grabs the shotgun from under the counter and kills the man first, then the wife. A combat veteran trained by the United States military, Crystal doesn't hesitate, doesn't flinch. She searches the station and finds the bodies of the strangers who came before her. She takes rubber bands, ammunition, and a walkie-talkie. She drops her jacket and walks outside. There's a pickup truck parked in front. Crystal inspects the license plates, fake, with Croatian plates hidden underneath. She isn't in Arkansas. She never was. She finds a tripwire connecting the truck's door to a hidden bomb. She carefully backs away. Over the walkie-talkie she snatched from the station, she hears voices. The hunters are looking for Ma and Pa. They can't reach them. They send a drone to investigate.
I don't see anybody inside.
Before the drone can report back, a man appears from the brush. This is Gary, a loud, conspiracy theorist podcaster with more confidence than sense. He shoots the drone out of the sky, smashes it for good measure, and heads straight for the truck. Crystal stops him, warning him about the bomb. She tells him that by shooting the drone, he's basically told them exactly where they are. Then she starts walking towards some train tracks she spotted earlier. Gary follows. Along the way, Gary shares his theory. He tells Crystal he read an article online about a group of liberal elites who kidnap people and take them to a manor to hunt them for sport. The conspiracy was called Manorgate. Crystal listens but doesn't seem particularly convinced. She hears a train approaching and tells Gary to run. They sprint alongside it and manage to jump aboard. Inside the freight car, they find a group of immigrants huddled together in the dark.
Come on.
What?
They're not real crisis actors.
Gary immediately declares that they're not real, that they're crisis actors planted by the elites. Crystal is unconvinced by this theory either. The train stops. Croatian military police board and begin searching each compartment. Crystal and Gary, along with the refugees, surrender. As the soldiers frisk them, Gary decides this is the perfect moment to explain to a Croatian officer, in English, that he and Crystal are Americans, and that the refugees are all actors. The officers don't understand a word. One of the refugees, however, suddenly speaks to Gary in fluent, American accented English. He tells Gary that he is the only actor here, an embedded hunter named Crisis Mike, and that the others are actual refugees, and these are real Croatian soldiers. Gary, flooded with panic and rage, tackles Crisis Mike and shoves a grenade into his pants. Everyone scatters. Crisis Mike explodes. Gary disappears in the chaos, and Crystal, who stayed behind to shield the real refugees from the blast, is detained by the Croatian military. Crystal finds herself in a refugee detention center, where the authorities are skeptical of everything she says. Inside the camp, she meets another survivor of the hunt, Don, an older man wearing an airborne squadron cap. Don is rattled but talkative, repeating the same Manorgate conspiracy theories Gary told her. The two go to the camp kitchen to eat. Soon, a man claiming to be an official from the American embassy, Oliver, arrives to pick them up. Later, they're riding through the Croatian countryside with Oliver, who asks an awful lot of questions about what they did wrong. The nature of his questioning, insistent, probing, almost accusatory, triggers something in Crystal. She realizes Oliver is one of them. Without hesitation, she knocks him out, pushes him from the car, then reverses over his body. Don is horrified, freaking out, until Crystal opens the trunk. Inside lies Gary, dead, alongside a box marked bribe money and a map. Whatever doubts Crystal had are erased. She studies the map while Dawn insists they should just drive away. But Crystal shakes her head. She doesn't want to escape. She wants to find the people who did this and end it.
Okay, I'm driving. Give me the key.
No.
No?
No. My mama used to tell me this story about the jackrabbit and the box turtle.
She tells Dawn a story her mother used to tell her. The fable of the jackrabbit and the box turtle. They run a race, and the turtle wins. But in her mother's version, the jackrabbit goes back and kills the turtle and his entire family. Because the jackrabbit always wins.
Because the jackrabbit always wins.
Your mama told you that story?
Dawn listens in unsettled silence. Then the pig from the crate reappears, trotting along the road as if none of this concerns it.
Little pig. Yeah.
Elsewhere, inside a fortified bunker in the Croatian woods, the group of hunters is gathered. They chat about what's politically correct and what isn't, arguing over language and ethics with the passion of people who have never faced a real consequence in their lives, until now. Among them is a tactical consultant, a soldier named Sergeant Dale, who tries to maintain order and asks them to be quiet. They mock him instead.
Guys.
Did you say guys?
Oh, Richard.
I'm sorry, I gendered it.
Please, let's keep your voices down.
What was the name of that movie?
Tears of the Sun.
Tears of the Sun? He's cool.
Stop fucking talking!
Athena's voice comes through the radio, telling them all to shut up. The tension is palpable. One of the hunters, Richard, steps outside to relieve himself. At the tree line, Dawn distracts him with the pig. While Richard is bewildered, Crystal creeps up behind him and slits his throat. Back inside the bunker, the group hears a noise. Sergeant Dale gives them instructions, which they barely follow. Panic fills the room. Dawn drops the pig inside through an opening. The terrified hunters, mistaking it for a threat, shoot the pig dead. One of the women is genuinely upset that they killed the animal, a reaction that reveals just how disconnected their sense of morality really is. In that moment of confusion, Crystal strikes. She kills one of the men immediately and opens fire on the rest. She incapacitates Sergeant Dale, stabs the woman called Liberty, and fights another man for a rifle. He manages to eject the ammunition, but Crystal finds a round still in the chamber and shoots him dead. She then dispatches the last of the group, Ted, Martin, Peter, with lethal precision. She thinks she has them all, but Sergeant Dale isn't finished. He tackles her from behind, and they fight brutally. Crystal tears a pipe from the ceiling and beats him with it, but she doesn't kill him, not yet. Liberty, still alive, calls Crystal a hick from the floor. Crystal picks up a gun and turns to finish her. Don appears in the doorway. He finds a weapon. Crystal tells him to ask the woman why they were doing this to them. Liberty gives a flippant, stupid answer. Crystal prepares to kill her, but Don stops her. She's a woman, he says, and should be spared. Crystal asks Liberty directly whether she deserves mercy just because she's a woman. Liberty answers no. Crystal shoots her. Don freaks out. Then Athena's voice crackles over the radio, asking Don if he killed Crystal. Crystal points her gun at Don. He pleads with her. He says he's not one of them, but Athena keeps calling, telling Don to finish the job. Crystal's eyes are cold, calculating. She pulls the trigger. Don falls. I think it's safe to say that Crystal has learned to trust no one. She tells Athena over the radio that Don is dead. Athena's response is simple. Come and get me.
Then I guess you better come and get me.
Crystal sits down next to the dying Sergeant Dale and, in a moment of unexpected civility, has a calm conversation with him. She asks where Athena is. Dale respects her, soldier to soldier, but warns her that Athena has been preparing for months. Crystal presses his wound until he gives her the location. Then she kills him too. A flashback takes us 1 year earlier to Athena's corner office in a sleek corporate tower. 2 representatives from the company are waiting for her. They confront her about the leaked group text, the one about hunting deplorables at the manor. Athena insists it was a joke, but the representatives are unmoved. The texts have gone viral, and people believe they're real. The scandal, dubbed Manorgate, is a public relations disaster. They tell Athena she has to step down. She laughs at first, then the gravity of the situation sinks in. Her career is over.
You gotta go.
One joke.
And these people believe it and they're not going away. Wasn't fun.
It wasn't real. People believe I'm hunting human beings at my manor.
I really do, but
What fucking people?
She demands a list of the people who spread the conspiracy theory online, the ones who turned a private joke into a career-ending scandal. Another flashback, 8 months before the hunt. The group of disgraced elites convenes to choose their targets. They scroll through profiles of the internet commenters who ruined their lives. They argue over who deserves it most, who represents the worst of the online mob. Then a slide appears with a photograph of a woman named Crystal May Creasy, and the anonymous online post she allegedly wrote calling Athena a murderer. Athena's expression darkened. She chooses Crystal as her personal target, her arch nemesis, the one she wants to destroy most of all.
Athena Stone murders innocent men.
That's our snowball.
Back in the present, Crystal walks toward Athena's manor, a sprawling, rented house in the Croatian countryside, decorated and fortified for this very purpose. Athena speaks to her through an intercom system, telling Crystal that if she doesn't leave her gun in the mailbox, she'll detonate the C4 buried under the front gate. Crystal complies, setting the weapon down and walking inside unarmed. Beethoven plays in the background. Crystal moves through the house cautiously, passing a wall covered in photographs, pictures of herself, of the other victims, of everyone who was targeted. The planning, the obsession, it's all here. Athena is waiting in the kitchen, calmly preparing a grilled cheese sandwich as if this were a dinner party and not the final act of a massacre. She asks Crystal if she killed Dawn but refuses to confirm whether Dawn was one of her plants or a genuine victim. Athena delivers a speech about the best cheese to use for a grilled cheese, the kind of idle luxury talk that defines everything about her world. Then she lays out Crystal's entire backstory, the screen name, the online post, the words that brought them to this moment. Athena calls Crystal Snowball, a reference to George Orwell's Animal Farm, in which the pig Snowball believes himself superior to every other creature. But Crystal shocks her. She's read the book, and she tells Athena that Athena is the one who resembles Snowball, a leader so consumed by her own cause that it drives her mad. Then Crystal delivers the final twist. She isn't the right Crystal. The woman who posted those conspiracy theories about Athena online is another Crystal from the same town, with a slightly different spelling of her middle name. Athena kidnapped and tried to kill the wrong person. The irony is devastating.
There's another Crystal May Creasy back home, but she spells May with an E. She's alive.
Can we call her? Let's call her right now.
Athena turned a joke into reality, destroyed innocent lives, and couldn't even get her revenge right. After a beat of stunned silence, Crystal grabs a knife from the counter. Athena grabs one too. What follows is one of the most savage, evenly matched fights put to screen. The two women tear through the kitchen. Athena kicks Crystal across the fireplace, grabs a shotgun, and chases her upstairs. They grapple for the weapon. Crystal pushes Athena down the stairs and leaps after her. Athena reaches for a knife and stabs Crystal in the side. The fight spills outside and then back into the kitchen, where Athena drives a vegetable cutter into Crystal's body. But as she kicks Crystal away, Crystal pulls Athena in close and drives the other end of the cutter into Athena's torso. For a long moment, the two women stand locked together, impaled on opposite ends of the same blade. Then Athena drops. She's dead. Crystal, bleeding and barely standing, is not. Crystal pulls herself upright. She eats the grilled cheese sandwich Athena was making. She cauterizes her wound with a blowtorch, the pain registering on her face only briefly before her expression settles back into that unshakable calm. She cleans herself up, walks to Athena's closet, and puts on one of her dresses. She slips into Athena's shoes. Before she leaves, she picks up the expensive bottle of champagne that survived the fight. She walks outside and sees Athena's private jet waiting on the tarmac. When she boards, the stewardess and the captain freeze in their seats. Crystal tells them she killed their boss and calmly threatens them with a gun, instructing them to take her home.
Assholes you worked for tried to kill me.
Shit.
So I killed them instead. Now I want to go home.
She sits down. The stewardess, after a long, uncertain pause, prepares a snack and opens the champagne. Crystal, still bleeding beneath a dead woman's dress, invites the stewardess to sit down and eat with her. The stewardess accepts. And as the jet lifts into the sky, Crystal takes a sip of champagne, a quiet, deserved exhale from a woman who was never supposed to be here in the first place, but who proved that the jackrabbit always wins.
It's great.